Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to those thrilling days of yesteryear. Thank you. A live recreation of some of your favorite shows from the golden age of radio. Well, as it was mentioned, we are in our 10th year and we are bringing you the best of TTDY, which is those thrilling days of yesteryear. However, with over 80 shows to choose from, it was really hard to narrow down our top favorites. So, which included many different Christmas-related shows that we've done over the years. But we thought we could actually get away with doing 2 Christmas-related shows this year, because although this particular show is a Christmas classic, it technically begins on Thanksgiving Day, which is just a few days away. Miracle on 34th Street, the classic 1948 film, and it was originally aired also that same year in 1948 as the Lux Radio Theater rendition of it. And we originally performed it back in 2004, and we're bringing it back again because it's one of our favorites, and it's part of our 10 best shows in 10 months season. And as was also mentioned, as an extra bonus, we're partnering each show with a different local charity. Today's partner actually reminds me of the line from this particular show when Chris Kringle says, "The one important thing is to make the children happy." Don't you feel that way? So today's partner, thank you, yeah, me too. Got to keep the kids happy. And so therefore today's partner is in fact the WonderWorks Children's Museum in Oak Park, and it provides a hand-on entertainment intended to strengthen the social, emotional, and intellectual development of children from birth to age 8. If you're age 9, apparently good luck. You're not allowed. They close the door. Actually, the door only comes up this high. So while our shows are free for all, and thank you for coming, please feel free to leave a donation at the door, and we'll be passing a bucket around as well to help our children grow. Speaking of growing, you might notice that our cast, if you've been to one of our previous shows, our cast has grown in size quite a bit, and we needed to do this in order to cover the many roles that are in this particular story. If we had the same person doing many characters, it might get confusing. And as it is, you'll see some of our actors take on more than one role. So just imagine that they are different people. And this was actually typical for many Lux Radio Theater shows. In fact, adapting a movie for radio was very tricky business. Not only did they have to make sure that all the characters were covered and the story made sense, but they had to condense an hour-and-a-half movie into only 50 minutes. So, which is not an easy task. In fact, although we pride ourselves on recreating our shows as close as possible to how it was originally done, we have taken the liberty to include a couple of small classic scenes that were in the original movie, but didn't make it to the final Lux Radio cut. We hope you enjoy our little tweaks and adjustments. Perhaps, in fact, if the writers had more time to film, they would have done the same. Other than that, we will attempt to recreate this wonderful classic show for you just as it aired, word for word, with sound effects, music, and all. And while you are listening, you might pretend that you are one of those who have the fortune of being in the live studio audience as they watch their favorite performers do their thing. Or perhaps you just may wish to sit back, relax, close your eyes, and imagine that you are sitting in your own living room in front of the old Philco radio, anxiously awaiting for your favorite show to begin. So join us now as we take you back to those thrilling days of yesteryear. Lux presents Hollywood. Leader Brothers Company, the makers of Lux Flakes, bring you the Lux Radio Theater, starring Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and Edmund Gwenn in Miracle on 34th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Our Christmas present to you is the new Christmas classic of our time, Miracle on 34th Street. It's wrapped in a gay covering of laughter, tied in a bright ribbon of good humor, and decorated with the 3 sparkling stars of the 20th Century Fox picture, Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and Edmund Gwenn. This is a wonderful story for the whole family, and perhaps some families may be gathered around a Christmas tree as they listen. Others will be putting up this happy sign of the season in a few days with lights and ornaments and the shining snow that can be made with Lux Flakes. Later we'll tell you how to do this with Lux. But right now, it's curtain time for the play that proves there is a Santa Claus. Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Webb in his Academy Award performance as Kris Kringle. It's Thanksgiving Day in New York City. On a broad avenue joining Central Park, an annual event is being joyfully awaited. The spectacular parade presented by Macy's department store to herald in the Christmas season. Away from the crowd are two of Macy's public relations experts.
Oh, he's simply wonderful, Mrs. Walker. Just look at him on that float. Well, the most realistic Santa Claus we've ever had. Why, didn't even need any padding, did he?
Padding?
Or didn't you notice his tummy? So round, so firm, so fully packed. Well, now that everything's under control, where on earth did you find him?
I don't know. I just turned around and there he was.
And you think that the man whose place he took was intoxicated?
With a breath that would knock over a reindeer.
Oh, just think if Mr. Macy had seen him.
What if Mr. Gimble had seen him? Competition between our stores is tough enough.
No, well, the parade's starting. Let's stand at the curb.
Not I, Mr. Shellhammer. I'm going home to relax. Anyway, I can see it from there. I live just around the corner.
Oh, so you do. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Mrs. Walker, and congratulations on finding the best Santa Claus in Macy's history. Certainly is a wonderful parade, Susan. Just look at that clown. Gosh, what a giant.
Giant, Mr. Gailey. There are no such things as giants.
Well, not now, maybe. But in olden days, there were plenty.
Really, Mr. Gailey? Are you a liar?
Well, what about that giant that Jack killed? You know, Jack and the Beanstalk?
Everybody knows that's a fairy tale, and I agree with my mother. Fairy tales are silly.
Come in.
Good afternoon. I'm Susan's mother. My maid said that...
Oh, hello, Mother. I'm watching the parade. Mr. Gailey invited me.
Hello, darling.
Susie's told me quite a lot about you, Mrs. Walker.
She's told me quite a lot about you, too, the man in the front apartment.
Well, this is all part of a plot, Mrs. Walker. I'm very fond of Susie, but I also wanted to meet you.
At least you're frank.
There's old Santa Claus.
Oh, don't even mention the name.
Why not, Mother?
Well, that Santa Claus you see is a last-minute substitute.
But why?
Oh, remember the way the janitor was last New Year's?
Oh, my. Tight as an owl.
I see Susie doesn't believe in Santa Claus either.
That's right. She never has.
Well, that's the end of the parade. Mother, I've been thinking. It's Thanksgiving and there are only two of us. Couldn't we invite Mr. Gailey?
Well,
Oh, please, don't bother. I'll just have a sandwich or something.
But we have such a big turkey. Please, Mother, please.
well...
Did I ask for it, Mr. Gailey?
Susie! Shh!
You asked fine, Susan. Dinner is at 3, Mr. Gailey.
Hello, Mrs. Walker.
Yes, Mr. Shellhammer.
Oh, your maid said you were at Thanksgiving dinner, but I just had to tell you, your Santa Claus was stupendous.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Macy himself wants him to be our toy department Santa Claus.
Oh, fine. Can you hire him?
Oh, I already have. Oh, he's a born salesman. I just feel it.
Good. We'll talk about it in the morning. Thanks for calling, Mr. Shellhammer.
Here he is, Mr. Shellhammer. He's Santa Claus.
Oh, thank you, Alfred. Thank you. Good morning, Santa Claus.
Good morning.
Now, before you go down to the toy department, here's a list of the toys that we have to push.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, the things we are overstocked on. Now, you'll find that a great many children will be undecided as to what they want for Christmas. When that happens, you immediately suggest one of these items. Do you understand?
I certainly do.
Aye, that's fine. Now, take a listen. Alfred here will show you to your throne in the toy department. And don't forget, you're working for Macy's.
Are you really Santa Claus?
Well, of course I am. What do you want for Christmas, little boy?
I want a fire engine with a real hose that squirts real well water, and I won't do it in the house. I'll only do it in the backyard. I promise.
And I promise you'll get your fire engine.
See, Mama? I told you we'd get me one.
That's just fine. That's just dandy. doing here, Mortimer? Mama wants to thank Santa Claus, too.
Yes, madam.
Say, what's the matter with you?
Now, what's the trouble?
I told you before, didn't I? The kid wants a fire engine, but there isn't one to be had anywhere in town. Macy's ain't got any, Gimbel's ain't got any, nobody's got any. My feet are killing me, and you say, okay, he gets the fire engine?
But you can get those fire engines at Show and Tells, Lexington Avenue. Only $4.50. Oh, wonderful bargain.
Show and Tells?
Yes.
I don't get it.
Oh, I follow the toy market very closely.
Macy's sending people to other stores.
Yes?
Are you kidding?
Oh, well, the only important thing is to make the children happy. Now, whether Macy's or somebody else sells a toy, it doesn't matter. Don't you feel that way?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Sure. Only I don't know Macy's did. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Who's next, please? Right this way to see Santa Claus. Oh, all right, little girl, you're next.
Of course, little girl. You want some roller skates? Well, you shall have them too.
Mama, he's gonna get me some roller skates.
And he has some fine skates here at Macy's, haven't you, Santa Claus?
Oh, they're good skates, all right, but not quite good enough. Now, I left some really wonderful skates at Gimbel. I'm sure Gimbel will have just what this little girl wants.
Mr. Shellhammer? Are you Mr. Shellhammer?
Gimbals? Gimbals. That's just what he could say. Gimbals?
The sales lady said I should speak to you.
Gimbals.
I just wanted to congratulate you and Macy's on this wonderful new stunt you're pouring.
Gimbals.
Imagine a big outfit like Macy's putting the spirit of Christmas ahead of the commercial.
Gimbals.
Well, from now on, I'm going to be a regular Macy's customer. You're all right, Mortimer, I'm coming.
Gimbals!
And there's the toy department over there, Mr. Gailey.
You certainly know all about Macy's store, don't you, Susan?
Well, that's because my mother works here. But I still think it's silly bringing me here to see Santa Claus.
Well, I just feel that when you talk to him, you might
Oh,
feel...
gee, Mr. Gailey, I'm certainly willing to try.
Well, what a fine young lady, eh? What's your name, little girl?
Susan Walker, what's yours?
Mine, Chris Pringle. I'm Santa Claus. You don't believe that, eh?
You see, my mother's Mrs. Walker.
Oh.
But I must say, you're the best looking Santa Claus I've seen.
Really?
Your beard, for instance, it doesn't have one of those things that goes over your ear.
Well, that's because it's real.
What?
Just like I'm really Santa Claus. Go ahead, pull it.
Oh, my. My goodness, it is real.
Yes. Oh, now, what would you like me to bring you for Christmas?
Oh, nothing, thank you. Whatever I want, my mother will get, if it's sensible and doesn't cost too much.
That's quite right, Susan.
Oh, hello, Mother.
Hello, Mr. Gailey.
Mrs. Walker?
Hello. The explanation for all this is very simple. Your maid's mother sprained her ankle. She had to go home, so she asked me to bring Susie down to you. And as long as we were here, I figured we might as well say hello to Santa Claus.
He has real whiskers, Mother.
Susan, would you stand over there for a minute?
If you want me to.
I shouldn't have brought Susie here to see Santa, is that it?
Now you're making me feel completely heartless.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't you see? I tell Susan that Santa Claus is a myth, and you show her a very convincing old man with real whiskers. Whom is she to believe?
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
When Susan was a baby, her father and I were divorced, and ever since then I've protected my child by teaching her reality. If you don't believe in fairy tales and fantasy, you can never be hurt or disillusioned.
We were talking about Susie, Mrs. Walker.
And I must ask you to let me raise her as I see fit. All right, dear, the store is going to close soon. We'll run along to my office.
Young lady, what's your name?
I'm sorry. She doesn't speak English. She's Dutch. She just came over. She's been living in an orphan's home in Rotterdam ever since we've adopted her. I told you wouldn't be able to speak to her, but when she saw you in the parade yesterday, She said you were Santa Claus, as she calls you, and you could talk to her. I didn't know what to do.
Hallo, ik ben blij dat je gekomen bent.
Hoe bent Sinterklaas?
Oh, ja, zeker.
Sinterklaas, ik wou zeker dat je het zou begrijpen.
Oh, natuurlijk. Zeg maar wat jij wil hebben dan Sinterklaas.
Niks, ik heb een alles. Ik wil allemaal, ik weet zo lief madame zijn.
Willen wij komen zingen?
Sinterklaas kapoentje.
Great button mijn schoentje, great button mijn laarsje. Dank je Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas kapoentje, great button mijn schoentje, great button mijn laarsje. Dank je Sinterklaas. Alfred said you wanted to see me, Mrs. Walker.
Oh yes, come in. I'd be grateful if you'd please tell Susan that you're not really Santa Claus, that there actually is no such person.
Mrs. Walker, not only is there such a person, I am here to prove it.
No. You misunderstand. I want you to tell her the truth. Now, what's your real name?
Chris Kringle, and I always tell the truth. Susan, I'll bet you're in first grade.
Second grade.
I mean your real name.
That is my real name. My goodness, the second grade.
Very well. I have your employment card right here. I'll look it up on that.
Oh, that's a very cute dress you have on, Susan.
It's from Macy's. We get 10% off.
Oh?
So, you always tell the truth, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Look at your employment card.
Name, Chris Kringle. Address, Brooks Memorial Home, Great Neck, Long Island. You may call the home if you care to confirm that, Mrs. Walker. It's a home for elderly gentlemen.
Would you also like me to confirm this?
What's that?
Date of birth. As old as my tongue and a bit older than my teeth. Place of birth, North Pole. Now really.
Why, I believe you doubt me, Mrs. Walker.
And this tops everything. Next of kin.
Oh, that.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. I'm sorry to have to do this, Mr.
Kringle?
But the Santa Claus we had 2 years ago is back in town, and I feel as though we owe it to him to...
Have I done something wrong?
No. It's just that we feel... Oh, excuse me. Hello.
This is Mr. Shellhammer, Mrs. Walker. Drop whatever you're doing. Mr. Macy wants to see us immediately.
Oh, I'll be right up. I'm afraid I'll have to be very abrupt with you. I have to see Mr. Macy. You'll be paid for the full week, Mr. Kringle, and I'll send your check to that address.
Oh, come in, Mr. Walker, Mrs. Shellhammer.
Thank you, Mr. Macy.
And now about this new policy you two initiated. Macy Santa Claus sending customers to Gimbals?
I can explain everything, Mr. Macy.
You don't have to explain a thing. Just look at my desk. 42 telegrams and over 500 phone calls. Grateful parents expressing undying gratitude to Macy's department store.
But you don't say.
From now on, not only will our Santa Claus continue in this manner, but every salesperson in the entire store.
You mean that if we haven't got what the customer asks for,
We're sending them where he can get it. No high pressuring and forcing a customer to take something he doesn't really want.
I think that's wonderful, Mr. Macy.
Why, we'll be known as the helpful store, the friendly store, the store that places public service ahead of profits. Consequently, we'll make more profits than ever. And for you, Mrs. Walker, Mr. Shellhammer, you'll find a more practical expression of my gratitude in your Christmas envelope.
Oh, thank you.
And tell that wonderful Santa Claus that I won't forget him either. Matter of fact, I'll tell him myself in the morning.
Oh, yes, indeed, Mr. Macy.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Macy.
Ooh, and thank you again, sir. Imagine a bonus.
Yes.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Mr. Shellhammer, I just fired him.
Who?
Santa Claus.
No. No, you couldn't have.
But I did. He's crazy, Mr. Shellhammer.
Oh.
He really thinks he is Santa Claus.
I don't care if he thinks he's the Easter Bunny. But find him!
Act 2 of Miracle on 34th Street will continue in a moment. Well, Libby, have you given Santa your Christmas list?
Yes, indeed, John. And number 1 on my list is a pair of Chinese pajamas with a 3/4 coat and little upstanding collar, just like the ones Monitor wore in Grove's regiment.
Now, perhaps you'd better have the wonderful mistress of Universal International show Santa what you mean.
Well, I'm sure Dick Powell or Stephen McNally could give them a good description. They found Marta very glamorous in this modern story of the French Foreign Legion.
Oh, and what a villain Vincent Price is in Rogue's Regiment. I was on the edge of my seat through the whole picture. And you talk about a pair of pajamas.
Well, they're very special. Marta liked them so much she had 4 pairs made for her personal wardrobe. And she was delighted when they told her she could lux them.
That's about the easiest care in the world, especially now with the new tiny diamonds of Lux. Another triumph of the famous Lever Laboratories. These tiny diamonds are so much faster, they burst into suds the instant water touches them, and makes wonderful rich suds that last and last.
Don't colors look marvelous when they're Lux? So fresh and new. No wonder smart girls say they won't risk wrong washing methods.
Tests prove that with gentle care, Lux Flakes really makes a difference. Lux slips and nighties stay new looking 3 times as long. And that's just like getting 3 pretty slips for the price of 1.
A really thoughtful Santa will put a box of Lux Flakes in every lingerie kit next Friday night.
Here's our producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Act 2 of Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Wen as Kris Kringle. It was a frantic few hours that Doris spent last night, rushing out to the Brooks Memorial Home in Long Island and assuring Kris Kringle that Macy's wanted him back as Santa Claus. Now Kris is again presiding over the crowded toy department, while in her office, Doris and Mr. Shellhammer...
Don't you understand, Mr. Shellhammer? That old man with the nice whiskers insists that he is Santa Claus. Why, he's out of his mind. What if he should have a fit or something? Oh, no, I've got to tell Mr. Macy.
But maybe he's only a little crazy. Like artists, or those men in Washington. Well, anyway, you can't be sure until he's examined. We'll send him to Mr. Sawyer.
Sawyer?
In personnel. Well, he's paid to examine employees, isn't he? And now, by the way, what do you think of this?
What is it?
A full-page ad. Macy's is running in tomorrow's newspaper.
Macy's is running it, but it's all about the other stores, Gimbels and Saks.
I know. Mr. Macy's idea to help our customers find what they want. It's revolting, isn't it?
That Santa Claus certainly has started something. Oh, well, I'll get a hold of him on his lunch hour and send him up to Mr. Sawyer.
So I changed my clothes, Mr. Sawyer, and came right up.
Oh, well then that's your own beard, huh?
Oh, yes.
Interesting complex in back of that. Why do you carry a cane?
Always carry a cane, Mr. Sawyer. Well, that is when I wear street clothes. I carved this cane out of a runner from one of my old sleighs.
What's that? What's that?
With a fine silver top.
Who's the first president of the United States?
Huh? Oh, give me a typical one. Like who was vice president under James Monroe?
I'm conducting this examination.
The answer is Daniel D. Tompkins.
Huh? Oh.
Yes, so you're a rather nervous man, aren't you, Mr. Sawyer?
Huh?
Tell me, do you get enough sleep?
My personal habits are no concern of yours. Now, what hand am I holding up?
Right hand.
How many fingers do you see?
3. Oh dear. You bite your nails too.
Stand up. Now, feet together, arms extended.
Muscular coordination test. Oh, I've taken dozens of these tests. Mr. Sawyer, are you happy at home?
What? That will be all, Mr. Kringle. The examination is over.
Thank you.
And it may interest you to know that I've been happily married for 22 years. Very happily married.
Delighted to hear it. Goodbye, Mr. Sawyer.
Miss Paul,
Yes, sir?
get Mrs. Walker on the phone.
Yes, sir. But your wife, Mr. Sawyer, she's called 4 times already.
You tell my big fat wife to shut up and mind her own business.
Yes, sir. Here's Mrs. Walker, sir.
Oh. Hello?
Oh, I was just going to call you, Mr. Sawyer.
Oh?
There's a Dr. Pierce stopping by this afternoon after 3.
Who's Dr. Pierce?
He's the physician at the Brooks home. I told him we might discuss Mr. Kringle's case with him.
Well, there's hardly a point in discussing it, Mrs. Walker. Obviously, the old man should be discharged. So, Dr. Pierce, Mr. Kringle should be dismissed immediately and sent to a mental institution.
Oh, now, just a minute, Mr. Sawyer.
Oh, he's deluded, saying he's Santa Claus.
It's a delusion for good. I found he only wants to be friendly and helpful.
His whole head is against aggressiveness. Look at the way he carries that cane. And Mrs. Walker, naturally, I can't discharge that loony. So when he exhibits his maniacal tendencies, please realize the responsibility is completely yours.
Well, I'm right back where I started.
Mrs. Walker, I assure you, Kris Kringle has no maniacal tendencies.
But if there's the slightest hint of his causing any trouble...
What trouble?
All that needs happen is a policeman asking his name. Kris Kringle, Clang Clang, and Macy's Santa Claus on top in the psychopathic ward.
Well, you can prevent that very simply. There must be someone at the store who can rent him a room. Then they could both come to work together. I'd just as soon he avoided that long train ride to Long Island anyway.
You mean, sort of take custody of him?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Mr. Kringle would agree to that?
I'm sure he'll agree.
Well, in that case, now, let me see. Who do I know that could rent him a room? Perhaps I can ask Mr. Shellhammer.
I'm glad you're going to have dinner with us, Mr. Kringle.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
Shall I tell you what I did in school today?
Oh, by all means. Any games?
Yes, and a very silly game, too.
Oh?
They played zoo, and each child was supposed to be an animal.
Oh, but Susan, they were just pretending.
But that's what makes the game so silly.
Oh, well, of course, in order to play games, you'll need imagination.
Oh, that's when you see things that they're not really there.
Oh, yes. But you know, to me, imagination is a place all by itself. Now, you've heard of the French nation,
Mm-hmm.
and the British nation?
Yes.
Well, this is the imagination. A very interesting place, too. Now, how would you like to be able to make snowballs in the summertime?
Why?
Or be at the Statue of Liberty in the morning, and in the afternoon fly south with a flock of geese?
Oh, I'm quite sure I'd like it, but I really don't know how.
Oh, it was very simple. Very. Anyway, look here. The next time they play zoo, you can be a monkey.
But I don't know how to be a monkey.
Don't you? Oh, I'll show you. First you bend over a little like this, see? Now let your arms hang loose, see?
Like this?
Oh, yes, that's fine. Now put your hand over here and start scratching. Oh, see, there, that's it. Oh, that's it. That's excellent, Susan. That's as fine a bit of scratching as I've ever seen. Yeah, now you start chattering.
Chattering?
Yes, now listen. See, keep scratching. Now, look here, we'll do it together. See, chatter and scratch and chatter, see? That's fine, Susan, fine. You're doing beautifully. Oh, beautifully, yes.
Mr. Kringle.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker just happened to mention that they're looking for a room for you.
Oh, that's right. Dr. Pierce doesn't want me making a long trip daily.
I was just thinking, I'm all alone in my apartment, twin beds, plenty of room. If you'd like to move in with me, I'd be only too happy to have you.
That's awfully nice of you.
You could ride to and from work with Mrs. Walker.
Yes, and that would give me a chance to really talk things over with her. Besides, I can see Susie now and then. Mr. Gailey, it's a deal.
Good. We'll get your things after dinner. Hello? Oh, yes, just a moment. It's a Mr. Shellhammer?
Thanks. Hello, Mr. Shellhammer.
Yes, just a moment. Mrs. Shellhammer wants to talk to you. I made the martinis triple strength, and she feels wonderful. Here, my pet.
Oh, thank you. Hello?
Oh, no, dear. Turn the phone around.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, darling.
No, dear. You had it upside down. There.
Oh, darling, how silly of me. Oh, yes, we'd love to have Santa Claus come and stay with us. I think it would be simply charming.
Oh, so do I, Mrs. Shellhammer. Just a moment. It's Mrs. Shellhammer. They have the loveliest room. They'd be so happy if you would stay with them.
That's very sweet of them. Please, thank them very much, but I'm going to stay with Mr. Gailey.
Mr. Gailey?
I think I'd better get the meat.
Susan, are you still awake?
Uh-huh.
I've just come in to say goodnight, that's all. Now, look here. About Christmas, there must be something you would like for Christmas.
Well, I certainly thought about something, Mr. Kringle.
You have? Well, what is it? Tell me.
It's right here on this night table, see?
Oh.
I tore this page out of a magazine. It's a picture of a house.
Oh, that's what you want, is it? A doll's house? Colonial architecture.
Oh, not a doll's house, a real house.
A real house?
Yes, and if you're really Santa Claus, you can get it for me.
Now, wait a minute, Susie. What could you possibly do with a big house?
Live in it with my mother, and a backyard with a big tree to put a swing on, and a garden, and a... Oh well. Why you discuss it?
Oh, Susie, could I keep this picture just in case?
I guess so.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Well, Mr. Gailey's waiting for me. Good night, monkey.
Good night, Mr. Kringle. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Take whichever bed you want, Mr. Kringle.
Oh, you're really kind. Tell me, Mr. Gailey, just what do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a lawyer. Haslip, Sherman, and Mackenzie.
Oh, and you like living here in the city?
That's convenient. But someday I'd like to get a place on Long Island.
Huh?
Not a big house, just one of those junior partner deals around Manhasset.
Oh, one of those little colonial houses, eh?
Yeah. A little colonial house would be swell.
Good. Yes, you're quite fond of Mrs. Walker, aren't you?
A lot of good it does me. She lives in a cast iron shell that's just a little difficult to penetrate.
Oh, well, you must try harder, Mr. Gailey. You know, Mrs. Walker and that child are a couple of lost souls, and it's up to us to help them, see?
No.
Yes, well, shall I turn out the light?
Oh, no. I'm not going to be cheated out of this. You know, all my life I've wondered about it, and now I'm going to find out. Tell me, does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers outside or inside the covers?
Oh, outside, of course. Outside by all means. The cold air makes them grow.
Thank you very much.
Come in, Mrs. Walker, come in.
Thank you, Mr. Macy. I've just heard something very exciting.
You have? Well, let me tell you something very exciting. Our policy of being kind to customers has tripled our sales. Now, what do you think of that?
That's wonderful, Mr. Macy. And Gimbals thinks it's wonderful, too.
Gimbals?
Gimbals are adopting the same policy.
Well, is that so?
And it gives me an idea. As long as Gimbals are doing the same thing, why not some pictures for the newspaper?
Pictures?
Yes, you and Mr. Gimbal. shaking hands.
Shaking hands? R.H. Macy and Gimble?
Well, yes.
Yes, why not? With Santa Claus. Oh, it's a great idea, Mrs. Walker. Macy and Gimble shaking hands.
That's great. Looking good. Move this way, Mr. Macy.
That's enough pictures, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Gimble.
Come on, R.H. Now we'll go over to my store and get some really good pictures.
Oh, just a minute. I have something here for Santa Claus. Here you are, Mr. Kringle. A check in appreciation of all you've done.
Oh, Mr. Macy, that's most kind of you.
I didn't think you were that generous, R.H. That's quite a check. What are you going to do with it, Mr. Kringle?
Well, I have a friend, a Dr. Pierce. He needs a new x-ray machine.
Buy the machine through the store. A 10% discount.
Nonsense. Come on over to Gimble's. We'll furnish it at cost.
Oh, keep it up, gentlemen, keep it up. At this rate, my friend will have a whole new hospital.
How the pictures turn out, Mr. Kringle?
Oh, fine, Alfred, fine. How about a game of checkers during lunch, eh?
Not today, Chris. I don't feel so good.
Oh, well, what's the matter, Alfred?
Nothing much. You remember I was telling you how I like to play Santa Claus at the Y and give out packages to the kids?
Yeah?
Well, I was telling Mr. Sawyer about it, and he says that's very bad. That psychologically, it's all wrong.
Oh? To be nice to children?
Well, he says guys who play Santa Claus do it because when they was young, they must have done something bad, and now they do something that's good to make up for it. See? It's what he calls a guilt complex.
Alfred, what else has he found wrong with you?
Nothing much. Just that I hate my father. I didn't know it, but he says I do.
Excuse me?
Hey, ain't you gonna have lunch?
Later. Right now, I have an appointment with Mr. Sawyer.
What do you mean breaking into my office like this?
Are you a licensed psychiatrist?
What business is it of yours?
I have respect for psychiatry and great contempt for meddling amateurs who go around practicing it.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, you ought to be horsewhipped taking a boy like Alfred and filling him up with complexes and phobias.
I think I'm better equipped to judge that than you.
Just because Alfred wants to be kind to children, you tell him he has a guilt complex.
Yes, well, having the same delusion you couldn't possibly understand.
Oh?
And don't you wave that cane at me.
Either you stop analyzing Alfred or I'll go straight to Mr. Macy and tell him what a contemptible fraud you are.
Oh, go on, get out of here. Get out of here before I have you thrown out.
Oh, there's only one way to handle a man like you. Maybe this will knock some sense into you.
Oh, help my hand off with that.
Good day, Mr. Sawyer.
Miss Paul, get me the police. Get me Miss Walker. Get me the psychopathic ward at Bellevue Hospital.
You can see Mr. Kringle now, Mr. Daly.
Thank you, nurse. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Fred.
Chris, I've been speaking to the doctors. They said they've given you some tests.
Oh, yes, the same old test.
Except this time you failed to pass them. Chris, you deliberately failed. Why?
Why? Well, because I had such great hopes, Fred. I had a feeling Mrs. Walker was beginning to believe in me, and now I discover she was only humoring me all the time.
But this wasn't Doris's idea at all. Mr. Sawyer sent you up here before she even knew about it.
But why didn't she come to me and explain things?
Because she didn't want to hurt you.
Oh, well, it's not just Mrs. Walker, well, now you take Mr. Sawyer. He's contemptible, dishonest, deceitful, yet he's out there and I'm in here. Well, if that's normal, I don't want it.
But you can't just think of yourself, Chris. What happens to you matters to a lot of other people. People like me who believe in what you stand for, and people like Susie who are just beginning to. Chris, you're letting us down.
I'm afraid you're right. Of course you're right. I ought to be ashamed of myself. Come on, let's get out of here.
Now, wait a minute. You flunked your mental examination, but good.
Oh, yes, so I did. Oh, well then, anyway, you're a lawyer, you fix it.
Hey, I can't just fix it.
Oh, now, I won't let you down, and you won't let me down.
Chris, now, take it easy. Look, there'll have to be a hearing. If you're going to be committed, it has to be before a judge.
Well,
if I can do anything at all, it'll have to be in a courtroom. Now, sit tight, Chris. I'll get an idea. I have to get an idea.
You sent for me, Mr. Macy?
I certainly did, Mr. Sawyer. I brought my family to our toy department to see our Santa Claus. And our Santa Claus isn't there. He's in Bellevue.
Yes, Mr. Macy.
Because he's a lunatic?
Yes, sir, a lunatic.
Lunatic, my foot! Now listen to me, Sawyer. You get that case dropped right away, or you'll have another lump to match the one he gave you.
But it's out of my hands. Mr. Kringle goes to court in the morning.
Well, just see that he's back in the toy department by afternoon. Now, get out of here!
Mr. Gailey.
Yeah?
I've been looking all over for you. I'm Mr. Sawyer.
Oh, so you're Sawyer.
Yes, I am. I was just speaking to the court clerk, and he said you represent Mr. Kringle. Well, I represent Mr. Macy.
Well, then I'll see you in court.
No. See, that's what I wanted to speak to you about. Now, Mr. Macy would like to drop the whole case right now. You see, we're most anxious to avoid any publicity.
No publicity, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's very interesting.
And you'll cooperate?
You know something, Sawyer? You've just given me the idea I've been searching for.
Oh, good.
If I'm going to win this case, I'm going to have public opinion and plenty of it. And publicity is just the way to do it. Thanks. And, so long, Mr. Sawyer.
Mr. Gailey. Mr. Gailey.
Look at these newspapers, Chris.
Huh?
Evening Dispatch. Doctors doubt sanity of Santa who launched Goodwill campaign.
Oh, my.
Daily Bulletin. Macy Santa Claus to have lunacy hearing.
Oh. What's this one?
New York Express.
Is Chris Kringle crazy? Court cause coming. Keys cry calamity.
You've driven the United Nations clear back to page 5. Well, get a good night's sleep, Chris. We go before Judge Harper at 10 tomorrow morning.
We pause now for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Our stars will return with Act 3 of Miracle on 34th Street in a moment. When a new player signs a contract with 20th Century Fox, she soon gets acquainted with Miss Helena Sorrell, head dramatic coach. Helena, you like to watch your pupils perform in a motion picture?
Oh, of course, John. Because I take a personal interest in them. I am especially proud of Betty Grable in her new picture, When My Baby Smiles at Me.
Betty's become a real fine dramatic actress.
She certainly has.
She and Dan Daly are magnificent as a couple of vaudeville hoofers.
And Betty's costumes in When My Baby Smiles at Me gave me a thrill. And I was amazed at how many things the wardrobe department washed with Lux Flakes. It reminded me of my theatrical days, when I was on the road and lived in a couple of trunks.
A box of Lux Flakes, Eddie.
That's absolutely true, John. I was never without it, in my hotel or at the theater.
Well then, you've probably discovered that the new Tiny Diamonds of Lux are more wonderful than ever. They're so much faster and richer. Do more for you too. They remove soil, which other types of suds can't. Leaves things cleaner, fresher.
And Lux Flakes keep colors lovely.
You're right there. That's why it's foolish to risk wrong washing methods that may fade colors. Actual tests show that with gentle Lux Flakes care, colors stay lovely up to 3 times as long.
That's a good tip for girls who get nice blouses and sweaters for Christmas.
Right you are. And thank you for coming tonight, Helena Sorrell. We return you now to William Keeley.
And the curtain rises on the third act of Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, Dawn Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwen as Chris. For a few weeks, a jolly, elderly man named Kris Kringle has been working minor miracles as Macy's Santa Claus. But now his sanity has been seriously questioned. And in a crowded courtroom, Judge Harper listens patiently as the Assistant District Attorney summons Chris to the witness stand.
Now, this is not a trial, Mr. Kringle. This is just a hearing, so you don't have to answer any questions. Now then, where do you live, please?
Well, it seems to me that that's what this hearing will decide, won't it?
Mr. Kringle, do you believe that you are Santa Claus?
Of course I do.
Well, that's all, Your Honor. The state rests its case.
Well, Mr. Daly?
Your Honor, Mr. Merrick contends my client is not sane because he believes he is Santa Claus.
An entirely logical conclusion.
Anyone who thinks he is Santa Claus is crazy.
Your Honor, you believe yourself to be Judge Harper, yet no one questions your sanity because you are Judge Harper.
Mr. Kringle is the subject of the Santa hearing, not I.
Well, Your Honor, I intend to prove that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Mr. Barrow, I thought you said this was a cut-and-dried sanity
I
hearing.
thought it was, Your Honor.
In view of Mr. Gailey's statement, I'll have to review the entire background of this case. Court's adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Hello, Doris. I'm sorry I'm late, but get ready. We're really going to celebrate tonight.
What are we celebrating?
Well, didn't you read the papers? Santa's mouthpiece throws bombshell at New York Supreme Court.
Oh, Fred, you're not really serious about this. You can't possibly prove that Kris Kringle is Santa Claus.
Well, you saw Mr. Macy and Mr. Gimbel shake hands. That wasn't possible either.
What does your firm have to say about it? Haslip and Mackenzie and the rest of them?
They've jeopardized their prestige, and I either drop this impossible case, or they'll drop me.
See?
So I beat them to it. I quit.
Fred, you threw away a career because of a sentimental whim?
Well, I'll open up my own office.
And what kind of clients will you get?
Oh, I'll probably get a lot of people like Chris who are being pushed around. That's the only fun in law anyway. Doris, look. Don't you have any faith in me at all?
No, it's not a question of faith. It's just common sense.
But faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. It's not just Chris that's on trial, it's everything he stands for. Human kindness and love and dignity.
Oh, Fred, listen to me. We've seen each other a lot the last couple of weeks. I've become fond of you. We've talked about some wonderful plans, haven't we? Then you go and do this. Go out on an idealistic binge. Throw away your security and expect me to be happy about it.
And I expect too much, is that it? Well, that's that, I guess. Good night, darling.
Hello. Yes, this is Mr. Barrow. Well, can't it wait until tomorrow? I'm eating Who's been subpoenaed? Oh, well, how do you think I feel about it? I'll see you tomorrow.
Who's that, dear?
R.H. Macy's been subpoenaed.
Oh, my.
Those reporters, they make me look like a sadistic monster who likes nothing better than to drown pussycats and tear wings off butterflies.
Quiet, dear. Tommy's still awake.
Oh, yeah.
It'd just break his heart if he knew what his daddy is doing.
I'm doing my job as Assistant District Attorney.
Well, I'm not so sure that I agree with him. Mr. Kringle looks like a very nice old man, and I don't see why you have to keep persecuting him.
I'm not persecuting him, I'm prosecuting him. I like the old man too, but there's nothing I can do about it.
You know something, Thomas? Sometimes I wish I married a butcher or a plumber.
Yeah, well, if I lose this case, it's very possible you'll get your wish. R.H. Macy, I wonder what he's going to pull tomorrow.
Proceed with the witness, Mr. Daly.
Now then, Mr. Macy, if you recognize the defendant, please tell us who he is.
Why, Kris Kringle, of course.
Do you believe him to be of sound mind?
Sound mind? had a dozen just like him.
Mr. Macy, you are under oath. Do you believe that man is Santa Claus?
Well, no, that's rather delicate.
Think of those headlines tomorrow. Macy admits his Santa Claus is fraud.
You keep out of this, Dimbo!
What did you say?
Nothing, Mr. Mara, nothing.
I wish you would. Is that man Santa Claus?
Yes, in my opinion, he most certainly is.
Your Honor, there is no such person as Santa Claus, and everybody knows it.
Can you prove there isn't any?
Well, I won't even try. I'll not waste the court's time with such childish nonsense. Your Honor, the prosecution requests an immediate ruling from this court. Is there or is there not a Santa Claus?
Well, now, the court will take a short recess to consider the question.
Hello, Henry.
Why, Charlie, what are you doing here?
Can an old friend visit you in your chambers? If you ask me, you never needed a friend like you do now.
This Kringle case, well, I certainly don't see what they're making a fuss about.
Henry, that's Santa Claus you've got out there, on trial for lunacy. This case is dynamite. You're coming up for re-election soon.
Charlie, you know what happened last night? Martha brought the grandchildren over, and they wouldn't kiss Grandpa. They wouldn't even talk to me.
Well, you see what I mean? If you rule there's no Santa Claus, you better start looking for that chicken farm right now.
I'm a responsible judge. How can I seriously rule that there is a Santa Claus?
Because of what happens if you don't. Kids read about it, and they don't hang up their stockings. Now, what happens to all the toys that are supposed to be in those stockings? Nobody buys them. The toy manufacturers have to lay off employees. By now, you've got the AFL and the CIO against you. Yes, they're going to say it with votes. See? Oh, and the department stores. They're going to love you, too. Yes, sir, Henry. And what about the Salvation Army? They got a Santa Claus on every street corner. They take in a lot of money to help the poor. But go ahead, Henry. You go in there and rule there isn't any Santa Claus. But if you do, you can count on getting just 2 votes. Your own and that district attorney out there.
In 1 vote, Charlie. He's a Republican. Oh, well, let's get this over with. The question of Santa Claus seems to be largely a matter of opinion. The tradition of American justice demands a broad and unprejudiced view of such a controversial matter.
But, Your Honor...
This court, therefore, intends to keep its mind open. We shall ask for evidence on either side.
But the burden of proof clearly rests on my opponent. Can he produce any evidence to support his view?
If Your Honor, please, I can. Will Thomas Mara please take a stand?
Who, me?
No, Thomas Mara Jr. I believe he and his mother are both in court today.
Hi, Papa.
Hi. Tommy, do you believe in Santa Claus?
I sure do. Gosh, she gave me a brand new sled last year.
Now, what does Santa Claus look like, Tommy?
Well, there he is sitting right over there.
Your Honor, I protest.
Overruled.
Tell me, Tommy, why are you so sure there's a Santa Claus?
Because my papa told me so. Didn't you, Pop?
Thank you, Tommy. You can go back to your mother now.
See you later, Papa.
You certainly will.
Your Honor...
Don't forget, Santa Claus. This year I want a football helmet.
Oh, don't worry, Tommy. You'll get it.
Mr. Kringle, if you don't mind...
I'm sorry, sir.
Your Honor, the state of New York concedes the existence of Santa Claus. But, in so doing, we demand that Mr. Gailey stop representing and presenting personal opinion as evidence. I insist he submit authoritative proof that Mr. Kringle here is the one and only Santa Claus.
Well, Mr. Gailey, are you prepared to show that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus on the basis of unprejudiced authority?
Well, sir, no. Not now. I need a little time.
Why not now?
Tomorrow, Your Honor?
Very well. Court's adjourned till tomorrow morning.
Oh, brother.
Now come on, Susan, dear, finish your supper.
But I can't, Mother. All those things they're saying in the newspapers about Mr. Kringle and Mr. Gailey.
They're having this trial because he says he's Santa Claus.
He's so kind, nice, and jolly. He's not like anyone else I know. He must be Santa.
You know something? I think perhaps you're right.
Is Mr. Kringle sad now, Mother?
I'm afraid he must be.
Then I'll write him a letter. Maybe that'll make him feel better. I'll cheer him up.
Oh, postman!
Yeah, lady.
Would you mind taking this letter?
Oh, sure, lady. We're going straight down to the post office now. Okay, Louie. Take it away. Well, what do you know, Louie? Another letter for Santa Claus. Hey, here's a new one. Instead of the North Pole, this kid's got it addressed to Chris Kringle, New York City County Courthouse.
Yeah, well, the kid's ready.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. They got him on trial down there. He claims he's Santa Claus, and the DA claims he's nuts.
Hey.
Huh?
Hey, I got an idea. How many Santa Claus letters we got down there in the dead letters office?
Who knows? Maybe 50,000? Bags and bags all over the joint. You mean...
Right, yeah. Why not? Wouldn't it be nice to get rid of them all, wouldn't it?
Oh, boy, look. As soon as we get to the post office, we go see the supervisor. You know something? I bet we both get promoted.
And since the defense has failed to submit one shred of proof that Kris Kringle is the one and only Santa Claus, and since tonight is Christmas Eve, I ask Your Honor that this hearing be terminated without further delay.
I protest. I do have evidence.
5 minutes ago, you said you didn't.
Well, during Mr. Merrill's oration, the bailiff handed my client the evidence I refer to.
What evidence?
This letter, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Kringle?
It's from Susan Walker. She believes in me. Oh, this letter means more to me than anything in the world.
That letter, Your Honor, was delivered by the United States Post Office, an official agency of the federal government. The Post Office Department is one of the largest business concerns in the world. Last year, it did a gross volume of over $1 billion. And this year,
Your Honor, I'm sure we're all gratified that the post office is getting along so well. But what bearing has it on the sanity of that man?
My point is that the Post Office Department is a model of efficiency. Furthermore, the laws of this country make it a criminal offense to willfully misdirect mail or intentionally deliver it to the wrong party.
The state of New York is second to none in its admiration of the Post Office Department. We're very happy to concede Mr. Gailey's...
For the record, Mr. Merrill?
For the record, anything to get on with this case.
Thank you. Your Honor, that letter just received by Mr. Kringle is positive proof that...
One letter is hardly positive proof.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Come, Mr. Gailey, put them here on my desk.
But, Your Honor, I don't...
I said put them on my desk.
But, Your Honor...
On my desk.
All right, boys, bring them in.
What is it? Your Honor, what is this?
That would be those mail sacks on Judge Harper's desk. Bring them in or be fined for contempt of court.
No, just a second here.
We'll do it, Your Honor. Through rain, through sleet, through courtrooms, anything. We deliver.
Mr. Gailey!
Your Honor, every one of those letters and every one of those mail sacks is addressed to Santa Claus. The Post Office delivered them. Therefore, the Post Office Department recognizes Kris Kringle to be the one and only Santa Claus.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. For heaven's sake, get this man out of my courtroom!
So as soon as I got out of court, I came straight to Macy's to see you, Doris.
Oh, Chris, I'm so glad you won.
Well, we're having a big Christmas party at the Brooks home tomorrow morning. I'd like so much to see you and Susan there.
We'll be there, Chris. Oh, Chris.
Now, me. Oh, my goodness, Doris, it's Christmas Eve. Alfred, look who came all the way out here to the home just for our Christmas party.
Chris, it's Mr. Macy.
It's Mr. Gimble, too. Excuse me, Alfred. Mrs. Walker and Susan have to leave now, and I want to see them before they go. So forgive me, will you?
But, Susie, darling, you got so many presents.
Not the one I wanted, not the one Mr. Kringle was going to get for me.
Well, what was it?
It doesn't matter. I knew I wouldn't get it, but I thought he'd at least tell me why.
Susie, I'm sorry, Susie. I tried my best.
You couldn't get it because you're not Santa Claus.
Susan!
Just a nice old man like Mother said.
But I was wrong when I told you that. You must believe in Mr. Kringle and keep right on doing it. You must have faith in him.
But that doesn't make sense, Mother.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to.
What?
I mean, just because things don't turn out the way you want them to the first time, you still got to believe in people. I found that...
Hello, Doris.
Fred.
Mr. Gailey, Mr. Gailey!
Merry Christmas, Susie.
Gosh, you just got here and we're ready to leave.
Oh, I've been here.
Oh.
And if you're ready to leave, I'll drive you home.
Before you go, here's a map I made for you. You missed a lot of traffic about 4 miles south. You see Ashley Avenue. Now, that's the street you want, Ashley Avenue.
Thanks, Chris. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Fred. And to you, my dear. And to you, Susie.
I believe Mr. Kringle. I do. It's silly, I suppose, but I do.
I don't understand it, Fred. The map Chris gave definitely says Ashley Avenue. We've been on Ashley Avenue now.
Stop the car! Oh, stop the car, please!
Susie, what is it, darling? What's the matter?
There it is. It's the house.
Susie!
What in the world?
She's running into that house!
Well, at least there's no one home. It's brand new. It's just been built.
Yeah, for sale, it says. For sale!
What on earth is that child up to?
Susie! Hey, Susie!
Here I am upstairs.
Now come right down. You know you shouldn't run around in other people's houses. That's strange.
I'll say.
No, I mean this house. I've seen this house somewhere. I know I have. Maybe in a magazine.
Mother, it's our house. It's the one I asked him for, Mr. Kringle.
Mr. Kringle?
I know it is. Oh, you were right, Mommy. You were right.
Susie!
Mommy told me that things didn't work out just the way you wanted them. At first, you still gotta believe, and I kept believing. And you were right, Mommy. Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Now, where are you going?
In back to see if there's a swing. There is one. Oh, there is one.
You told her that? About believing?
Well, you told me, Fred.
The sign outside. For sale, huh? Well, we can't let her down, can we?
I never really doubted you. It was just my silly common sense.
It even makes sense to believe in me now. I must be a pretty good lawyer. I take a little old man and legally prove to the world that he's Santa Claus. Now, you know, that couldn't be...
Fred!
What's the matter?
There. In the corner. By the fireplace.
Oh, no. No!
It can't be. It couldn't.
A cane! Chris's cane! Well, there couldn't be two canes like this anywhere in the world.
Silver handle and all.
Hey, you know something? Maybe I didn't do such a wonderful thing after all.
Before our stars return for their curtain call, Libby Collins wants to tell you about the wonderful way to decorate your Christmas tree, as we promised at the opening of the show.
You can give your tree that fresh from the woods look by covering it with real-looking snow you make yourself from a box of Lux Flakes.
So many people have asked for the Lux recipe for Christmas snow that we gave last week. We'll repeat it tonight. Listen carefully.
Take a large box of Lux Flakes. Gradually add 2 cups of lukewarm water and beat with an egg beater until it has the consistency of thick whipped cream. Then With your fingers, spread the mixture over the branches of your tree. And that's all.
This snowy covering dries quickly. It won't melt and lasts as long as the tree. Ask your dealer for a copy of this Christmas snow recipe.
I don't know of any decoration that costs so little, yet does so much for your tree. It looks lovely. Use just the tree lights, or you can add your usual ornaments if you prefer.
Try it on your mantle decorations and table arrangements, too. It gives them a very professional look.
And makes the whole house look more Christmassy. Now, I'll repeat that recipe. Take a large box of Lux Flakes. Gradually add about 2 cups of lukewarm water and beat with an egg beater. While moist, spread the mixture along the branches. If you want extra glitter, shake on some shiny artificial snow before the mixture dries. Let the children help. They'll love doing it and love the snowy tree.
Back now to our producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Mr. Kringle's reindeer are waiting on the roof, but we've asked him to pause a moment before he leaves and come back to the footlights with Maureen O'Hara and John Payne. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a real thrill to everyone in Hollywood when Edmund Gwenn topped his entire 53 years as an actor with his great performance as Kris Kringle.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bill. Everyone connected with Miracle on 34th Street, from George Seaton, the author-director, to the prop man helped me. They all believed in Santa Claus.
How could we help it?
I suppose you've got a strenuous time ahead, Chris. Covering the entire world in one night.
John, if everyone believed in Santa Claus, peace would break out all over the world in 30 seconds.
I hope you won't be too busy to stop at my house. I'll have my stockings hung up.
Well, I'll stop in, Maureen, but it seems rather futile.
Why, Chris?
Well, I couldn't possibly fill her stockings as well as she does.
Bill, after that, I think you'd better tell us about next week's play.
Next week, Maureen, a play straight from your native land. It's the 20th Century Fox picture, The Luck of the Irish. And the stars? Well, we have a superb cast. There's Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway. This is a delightful romance presided over by a most mysterious leprechaun in the person of Cecil Calloway. I hope you'll all enjoy it.
We'll be looking forward to it, Bill. And good night.
Good night.
Good night. Can I give anyone a lift in my sleigh?
Good night and Merry Christmas. Before we meet again in this theater, the most joyful day of the year will have come and gone. There are in our time, as in every time, a few foolish men who deride the spirit of Christmas. But in every country and in every time, they are overwhelmed by those who find in it the hope and happiness of the future. By those of us who believe in our hearts that there can be peace on earth and goodwill among all men. On behalf of Lever Brothers Company and all of us at Lux Radio Theater, I wish you all the happiest of holidays. Again next Monday evening when the Lux Radio Theater presents Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway in The Luck of the Irish. This is William Keeley saying good night and Merry Christmas.
Maureen O'Hara appears for the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, producers of The Snake Pit, starring Olivia de Havilland and Mark Stevens. Edmund Gwenn appeared with arrangement by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the all-star Technicolor musical Words and Music, based on the lives and music of Rodgers and Hart. John Payne will soon be seen in the Paramount picture, El Paso. Be sure to listen next Monday night to the Lux Radio Theater presentation of The Luck of the Irish, starring Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway. Stay tuned for My Friend Irma, which follows over these same stations. This is CBS, Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. We hope that you've enjoyed our wonderful holiday show. And please do not forget to leave a donation at the door for Wonderworks Children's Museum children grow. Be sure also, if you want to learn more about our upcoming shows, you can visit our website at www.ttdyradio.com. That's TTDY Radio, as in those thrilling days of yesteryear, for the latest updates and upcoming show information, including such fantastic classics as The Wizard of Oz and Jack Benny. However, don't forget to grab a flyer on your way out to remind you of our next show, which will be Sunday, December 18th, right here at 2 o'clock in the Oak Park Arms. We'll be doing another Lux Radio Theater classic, It's a Wonderful Life. So please join us then. And now, for the cast of those thrilling days of yesteryear, our announcer and Louie, Don Giggle. William Keeley and Mr. Bailey, Steve Schroeder. The role of Forrest Walker and Maureen O'Hara, Amy Kennedy. Mr. Shellhammer was played by John Corona. Rick Haley and John Payne, Matt Gilbert. And Susan Walker was played by the lovely Bryn Friends. Dr. Pierce and Alfred Aaron Wolfenson. And of course, the wonderful Chris Kringle and Edmund Gwen and Dennis Stewart. And let's not forget little Mortimer and Tommy Mara Jr., Shane Prince. Little Dutch girl, the roller skate girl's mama, Libby Collins, and the nurse, Margie Gustafson. The little roller skate girl, Dutch girl's mama, Helena Sorrell, the Hollywood dramatic coach, and Mrs. Mara, Julie Rogers Baker. The role of Mr. Sawyer was Craig Gustafson. Mr. Kimball, Charles Halloran, and the postman, Randall Hool. Lars Timpa. And today's show was directed by Pam Turlow, who is also Port's mama, Mrs. Shellhammer, and the secretary, Miss Paul. And no radio show would be complete without the synchronous sound effect stylings of Julie Rogers Baker. Special thanks goes to the magnificent musical magic of Bob Marine on the piano. But Dooley, who also played Thomas Mara. And on behalf of the cast, we'd like to extend our thanks to you, the audience, for helping our show to come alive and for living those thrilling days of yesteryear so that we could bring them